We're back. Back in the saddle.
Back in the saddle.
Mind meld. The game's over.
Game's over.
That's it.
Mine melt. Mine's done.
Yeah. There are a few things that you've done on this podcast that I think should live in infamy as a GIF. GIF? I don't know.
GIF.
One.
It's like Jeff. The GIF
Joff?
is the Jeff of Jeffs. Joff. Geoffs.
The Joff. The
Joe-offs. Yeah.
The Jack Geoff. One is where you go to move your headphones and you like the hat.
When I lost the battle to the hat was wild.
And you're like so lost in it.
It is truly.
And then there's one where you go, bump. Like you do this thing with your face where you go, bump. I can't even do it. It's so coordinated. The eyes go to the left when the tongue goes to the left, and you make the sound, bump. And it's really incredible. Oh no.
All right. Well.
For a second you were frozen. I was like, oh.
No, yeah, you were frozen.
So, I was too? Oh, God.
Yeah.
I yell at my family.
Oh, I lost it. This is where I don't know. I was going to sing a Frozen song, and I just didn't have it. I want to be quick. I want to be witty, and I'm just slow and dumb.
Oh. I don't know about that.
You're not slow.
I didn't say anything. I'm like, but you're fun.
What is the Frozen song? Let It Go.
Depends which one, you know.
There you go. Well, yeah, but that's, Fixer Upper.
He's a bit of a fixer-upper. By the way, what a terrible message. Never, ever think someone is fixer-upperable.
Don't try to change him. It's not
the way in which I have never dated being like, there's potential.
Did you not think that about me early on?
No, I thought there was no potential for you.
Hi, I'm Brendan Fehr.
And I'm Majandra Delfino. A decade or two ago,
Closer to 3, really.
a while back, we starred in the cult hit WB show Roswell.
And while we are in fact ex-co-stars, we are also actual exes. In real life.
Boyfriend and girlfriend exes.
Unnecessary clarification. But welcome to the X-Files, where we analyze all things Roswell. Episodes, co-stars, guest stars, and all the goings-on in front of the camera and behind the scenes.
In our probe, we may or may not agree, we may or may not get along, but if our history is any indication, we will most certainly dig up old stuff from the past and throw down. With guests, old and new, weighing in on who was right and who was wrong.
Oh, if we remember it, we're going to talk about it.
And if we don't remember, it's all good, because I kept my teenage diary to cross-reference, corroborate, confirm.
Wait, what?
Correct. So be prepared to pick a side.
Your actual diary, like, for real.
Having a change of heart?
More like a change of underwear.
Welcome
to the X-Files.
But did you not think that, like, when we dated, I always got the impression you were just like, this guy, because he's got to learn something sometime.
Well, all I struggled with was...
She like tries to choke this out.
No, feeling like the threat of you kind of wanting to always be available, like single, but not. If should someone like a Winona Ryder or someone were to show interest, or what, there was a little bit of that sort of, but that's I think like specific to a teen star issue more than just like a normal, if we were just like in high school or college or something.
I see. Yeah.
And which I think that's a pretty normal thing to expect. Devotion.
But I think you devotion. Yeah, I hope so. But
so what I was going to say is that I think that it was that I was very attracted to you. And that you just, this is so cheesy, but there's no other way to say it. I just was like, this is a person, you just very much seemed to me like a very warm, like a good, he's a little mixed up, but he's got a good heart, that kind of thing.
Like a good what? You keep breaking up.
Like
Maybe
a good
it's
neighbor?
mine.
So do you. I
State
know.
Farm is there? Okay, let me...
Yeah, State Farm is not here right now on our Wi-Fi.
Sorry, I had to take... It is so hot in here. Like, this is now summertime. Doing it in my garage is going to be a nightmare.
So if you are not watching this, Brendan is now completely naked. Brendan is now shirtless. And that's what all that was about. It was just a way to come back on and show
the
dem
goods.
titties. But yeah, I think it's like you expect someone to like grow up or I don't know, whatever, but to totally change. Like it is so silly to be like, why aren't you the kind of guy that buys me flowers and creates these elaborate dates? Like, and it's like, that's so not him.
Yeah, I guess the difference would be, what is the difference between maturing, evolving, and changing? And
just like a totally different personality.
Right. Yeah. Still, yeah, don't know. I just ask questions, so it's all right.
I always think it's maybe because I date people older. I'm attracted to people and also just like feel a pull to be with a person that can change me.
Oh.
Meaning like make me better, you know?
Right.
Like teach me how to be.
Yeah. You definitely taught me how to be a better boyfriend, a better companion, a better partner. I learned things.
I didn't do too good of a job.
I mean, I didn't say, I just said a few.
But yeah, that's my thing is like, oh, I think it's also just something that I'm like normally attracted to where you're like, oh, he's so smart.
But there is, what if there is that thing? I mean, I've been married 18 years. So, I mean, you kind of get what you get and you don't get upset at this point. But I know. No, but early on in a relationship, which I haven't been in one for 18, I've been in one for 18 years, but starting off, there is, there is that thing of like, oh, everything about them so great, except this one thing. And then you got to ask yourself, like, do I think I could maybe change that? Could I massage that a little bit? Or am I just going to have to live with this and get used to it, figure it out?
Yeah, like I think if it's a huge character flaw, that's an issue. But if it's like will he learn to put the toilet seat down? Like, fine. But if it's like he's so hard-headed and allergic to being helpful and considerate, and that's the trait, yeah.
Right.
I don't know. But I will say, you also, not you, but people tend to in the beginning,
the royal
like
you.
I thought you said the oil you. Yes, the oil you. They tend to like they tend to have their like be putting their best foot forward, and so you kind of aren't even getting the right version of the person because it's them trying in a different way.
Yeah, you're gonna do things early on that you probably aren't going to last, like flowers and dates.
Exactly. My big thing is...
I think I under-promised and tried to overperform. I don't know if I ever overperformed, but I definitely under-promised.
Yeah. I mean, that's why like going on a date was always an absolute no for me. Like I was never going to go on a date with someone before getting to really know them.
Okay. Because
it's just such a false version of the person. It's so uncomfortable. That's why I've only dated my friends. Now that sounds creepy, but you know what I mean.
Wow, you never could stay in the friend zone with Majandra.
Yeah, no, gosh, don't even try.
No, she's gonna get on that face at some point or another. I'm gonna
slowly come towards your face one day, but yeah, it is a thing of like be so tight with this person first.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And speaking of that, oldie times, do we have a diary entry?
We sadly do not have a diary entry.
Okay, we don't have a diary entry, so we can cut that out. No. And then, but speaking of being together, yes. We're doing To Have and To Hold, the wedding episode, season 3, episode 6.
Lest anyone think that we were off topic, talking too much about ourselves, it was actually something that perfectly lines with the episode.
November 13th, 2001, original air date, written by Ronald D. Moore. Don't forget the D.
Don't forget that D in the middle.
Directed by Fred K. Keller. Don't forget the K.
Is this a ketamine reference? What's happening?
I don't know. That's what it is.
Special K.
I was wondering who Kevar was. I was like, who is this man?
Speaking of K.
Spence Decker. Not Spencer Deck. Spence Decker. Spence.
Yeah. Spencer Decker?
No, Spence Decker.
Right, but it's Spence the nickname?
No. John Doe, Garrett, Mary Ellen, Yvonne Cole, Estelle Ramirez, Jesse's mom, Benjamin Benitez, Louis, Chad Gabriel, Mark. These are all the guys. Danny Shekel, Richie, Patrick O'Brien is the minister. Joseph Williams is the singer. Joseph Williams was a singer? What singer? Was that our music guy, Joseph Williams?
Well, it had to be. But what singer?
Bill sings.
I know. Maybe he was singing backup?
Don't know. Greg Zola Carter with a K.
A lot of Ks.
As the wedding approaches, Isabel finds herself plagued with dreams of an attractive stranger. Max and Michael secretly investigate Jesse. We first heard of Kevar in Surprise. Good to know. We should remember that.
No, I remember Kevar.
No, so do I. But he was first mentioned in Surprise.
Surprise.
And since then have been constantly reminded of his history with the teens. He managed to take the throne of Antar and murder Zan, Rath, Valandra, and Ava. But hold on. Did he murder them? Because I threw Zan into the bus. I murdered Zan on Earth.
So this is what's so confusing, is that there's so much too of this stuff of like the people we were then and the people we are now. And is it the same person? Are there double people? What the hell's happening?
I don't know. Ever since, he's been searching the Earth for his reincarnated love, and since viewers first heard his name, they've been waiting for him to make his move. How perfect for him to show himself days before Isabel's wedding. To Have and to Hold is a great episode for many reasons, but there is no question as to who steals the show.
It's me, isn't it?
Steals the show. Yeah,
we both think it's...
I know, totally. We both think it's us.
We say it's me perfectly at the same time.
Katherine Heigl gives a wonderful performance in this episode. She's talking about Katie.
Oh.
And we see elements of the Christmas Nazi, which I did have in my notes, the wedding Nazi, but wedding's a little different. I mean, everyone gets a little cuckoo on their wedding. And the reason we're doing this, one, with our guest is because, Katie's never going to be on the show because she said no. So we're just taking her wedding day and we're taking it over.
Yeah.
Don't know what to say.
If we could have Katie
otherwise,
on,
it would have been
she'll
fun.
never be on this, so.
Would have been fun, but there we go.
Yeah, would have been great. Would have loved to know her process and why she's so good. But instead, we get to have a very parallel person who was a big WB gal at the time.
Yeah.
And so that means, forever. We are all forever WB.
Trying to be more professional on this. And I just have one question. And it's not very great, but I just read a little something where I was like, is this what happened back in the day? So we'll have that information. We'll see how it goes.
I can't wait. Is it going to be, were you in love with me?
I mean,
I could have had
Could I have had you? Yeah, I could have had you.
I could have had you, right?
If you look back, I could have had you.
I could have had you, right?
I could still, yeah. I mean,
I can still have you, right? Now it's your wedding ring that's interfering.
No. Well, my first thing. Okay, hold on. My wife is okay. So I can't. You can come in here and grab the car. All right. We might be we might be interrupted a little with the.
It's so perfect, especially for this episode, to have and to hold.
And then Interrupt Us is the next one or the one before that?
Oh.
We're getting Interrupt Us.
Okay.
My first thought on this, we all know how I feel about weddings, marrying people off on TV shows. Do we really... Jesse is, this is episode 6. He's relatively new. Mm-hmm. Do we really care about this wedding? Like, do we want to see it? Do we know enough about Jesse? We love Adam. We all love Adam Rodriguez, and he's, a legend in his own right. But do we Do we care? Enough.
At the time, I didn't care. I thought, what are we doing? And then now I did care.
I didn't care in the beginning of the episode, but slowly I appreciated what they did with the wedding thing and bringing in Kavar and then the parents and the children's relationship. And Katie is always, even though she's the oldest out of the three aliens, there's a real middle child forgotten syndrome. Like Michael's got his own thing and he's kind of selfish enough being raised by Hank and all that stuff. Max is this heavy wears the crown. You know, he's always got to be doing the right thing. There's a lot of responsibility there. And then Katie is lost in the middle of this because it's like Michael's too selfish to necessarily understand. Max has got other priorities. And then, you know, what was the episode where, you know, I married an alien, you know, where Katie wanted to, you know, she was never able to tell her mom anything. It was that relationships. And she feels like there's a little bit of this forgotten middle child syndrome. And I just felt I had empathy for her and all this stuff with the wedding and kind of always being left out and the parents not showing up. A real casual display of just destroying this relationship where they run into her on the street going, oh yeah, no, we still love you. We just can't support this. And so we're not going. I was like, holy shit.
Wild. Just wild. I think you're absolutely right. It's true. It's very middle child. And I think, yeah, it's like she's the middle child within this like side family.
Yeah. Of
the three of them being siblings. But yeah, I thought it was so that, like I wrote, parents missing their own daughter's wedding, a slippery slope. Because like when you always want to be positive, I feel like that can be a form of neglect, right? To just be like, great, like to everything.
Yes.
But you got to be clear on that line, because if you're taking the hard stance approach, like in a too extreme of tough love approach, I mean, you can end up being estranged forever.
Well, I can see why they would they would be reluctant. Now, I can certainly see why Max and Michael do not want this to happen, because there's a whole alien aspect of it, of like, you're bringing someone in, this is going to fuck us. We're going to have to tell one more person, or this is going to confuse things and complicate things. But the parents don't know that. And she's not marrying some meth head off the streets of Roswell. He went to Harvard and he's a lawyer.
I know what it is.
Oh.
Racist.
The brown.
Racist.
A little touch of the brown.
Little touch of the brown. You're doing that. You're touching your cheek and going a little touch of the brown, and it has something perverted about it.
Not that brown.
Or like you're applying bronzer. But yeah,
I mean, but
who knows what it is? But it's not okay. It's too much.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sorry, we're not going. Like, and to run into each other on the street and just be like, love you though.
Yeah, I'm like, toodaloo, see you later. Like, it was just so wild. I was like, well, very casual decimation of this relationship.
Yeah.
I did like, even though I thought it was a cute little screen time with you, Liz, and Isabel just kind of in the beginning in the crash now, and it wasn't anything big, but it just felt, it as an audience member, it made me feel comfortable. Like, I was just like, oh, my like, you know, the family together, like doing it and looking out for each other, and Katie's safe place in the crash down, like, you know, doing her business and you guys taking care of her. I just thought it was great.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
Now, we're going to discuss the episode more, but for now, at this very moment, we are going to have our wonderful guest, one of my favorite people, Monica Keena.
Wow, hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I miss you.
I know, I miss you so much, Monica.
Oh my God, you guys, the episode that we're here to talk about.
Wild.
Wow.
What? Yeah. Okay.
Like, I thought. By the way, it's nice to meet you. I've never met you.
It's nice to meet you as well. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I never. This is Brendan, Monica. I thought maybe you guys had met, like in the WB days, or
no.
You never know.
That you guys were all the way out in
I
North
know.
Carolina.
North Carolina,
Yeah.
Wilmington. Yeah.
Yeah.
But whatchamacallit? Speaking of though, so I went on YouTube and I watched it on there, and I I was convinced. I was like, this isn't the real one. It can't be the real one. It's like it can't be. This is like some YouTube thing that they didn't have the rights or something. Because I was like, everything seems like I thought it almost seemed like foreign or something. Like I thought
Was it the right
like,
one?
Yeah, it was. And then I watched the Hulu one. I was like, oh wow,
Yeah, it's like
this
a
is the
Swedish
right one.
soap about aliens.
It had some. It was a straight like. It had a lot of weird like. I want to say like ukulele music in the background in this episode. Do you remember?
Usually the music choices are spot on. This one was interesting.
This one was interesting. At one point, Monica, they started playing the Hava Nagila during, like, when my character says your dress is in Florida. It busted out to Hava Nagila.
I thought I was like I'd been flipped something. I thought I was on mushrooms or something because I was like, and then like the weird flashbacks when Katherine Heigl's character, and they're all like in a dark room, just like one little dark room that I guess her ex-boyfriend that's an alien or something like would re-show up, and it was all like in slow-mo, and I was like, there's no way this is the real thing. I thought YouTube just messed with it to be
No, that's
Or
it.
that I was messing with you. I'm sending you
I
some
thought
crazy
something
things.
was weird. But
We talked about the flashback because we were like, maybe back then that was like sexy. I don't know.
Was it a
I
thing?
don't know.
Maybe it was. I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I
What's funny is
certainly don't remember.
my boss, like, you know, when he found out, you know, what I do and what I did, he was like, what are you on? I was like, Roswell. And he was like, oh, I'm going to watch that with my wife. And he's old. And so he watches, we watched a couple episodes last night, and he's like, yeah, it's pretty good. And a couple weeks goes by, and he's watched it here and there, and I don't really hear much. And then I go over to his house, and his wife's there, and she's like, yeah, we're at the point where he was like, are you going to get to see your, I told him I'm going on a convention, and he goes, oh, do you get to see your boyfriend? And I went, what are you talking
Which
about?
one?
And they're like, from the show. and I was like, from the show. And I go, are you talking about Night Shift? Because on Night Shift, I play a gay doctor. I was like, have you been watching Night Shift? And they're like, no, Roswell. And I'm like, I don't have a boyfriend in Roswell. And they're like, yeah, you do. The guy. And I went, you're watching the reboot.
Oh.
And I said, he doesn't look anything like me.
The guy
Because they were like, what? They were like,
Brendan.
what character are you? And I was like, Michael. And it's like this curly-haired blonde guy. And they thought it was me. I was like, you're watching the wrong show. How do you even think that's me? I was like, you're out of your mind. I was like, this is it. And I showed him. He was like, oh, yeah. He was like, yeah, we weren't really into that other one at all. We kind of quit watching it. It was really funny.
I was
that's
on
so
pins
funny.
and needles. I thought just now you were going to be like, he thought Maria, my character, was a dude. I was like, great.
But I thought maybe on YouTube she was watching the new one going like, this possibly couldn't be it.
Yeah. But it might as well have been. Because, like, it was so crazy. I have to admit, I wasn't a religious watcher of I never was a big TV
I don't think we watched
watcher.
any of each other's shows. Like, I didn't watch Buffy or Angel. I didn't watch, even though I knew James and Josh, I didn't watch Dawson's, you know, like.
Yeah.
I auditioned for Joey before Roswell, and obviously didn't get it, Monica.
You didn't?
Did
no. Who did they cast? I don't know. That's somebody.
And then I was like kind of bitter to the show after that. I was like, you know what? Fuck them. You know, so I didn't watch that much. Yeah, but it's just...
Yeah, I never, I mean...
Yeah, we were busy.
My view, I gotta say, my views on, like, that show and I was a very, like, bizarrely jaded teenager that, like, I think that reflected, or either it reflected so well in my character that I played on Dawson's Creek, or, well, actually, they kind of molded my character around me because my character was like sort of the voice of like whoever else would be watching it that weren't like the diehard viewers that were like, oh, this is so wonderful. Because my character was just like, you guys are stupid. This is like ridiculous.
Yeah,
why are you so
kind
serious all the time?
Yeah, you were kind of like, for lack of a, not exactly the right term, but the villain.
A bitch.
Of stuff. Yeah,
like has a different, but I
yeah,
will
you
say,
were kind
Monica,
of nasty, and you kind, yeah, they everyone else, you know, it's so kind of a wholesome thing,
yes, Mayberry.
Even though it's, you know, preteens having sex and doing all
right,
that stuff.
right.
But you were the mean girl.
I was like brought on to shake things up. I don't watch Euphoria, but like people have been commenting like she was the original whoever is the mean girl on that show.
Interesting.
Who is the mean girl on Euphoria? Is that Sydney Sweeney?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But I think, Monica, either, you know why that is? Why you were jaded? And I feel like I was the same. That's all Miami. That is a true Miami response.
I grew up in New York, yeah. I grew up in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh,
exactly.
Yeah. Way to hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, just Miami and Brooklyn and...
Yeah, yeah. But, you know, and I think... It's funny, my mom was just visiting here in Los Angeles. She still lives in New York. And I'm not like jaded in real life, but I can play jaded really well. And I've always wondered, like, and it's like, I'm not that good of an actress, but I'm like, this is so familiar to me. And it's just like, my mother. Any of the characters I've ever played, I'm just channeling my mom. Because she just like, seriously, like I was on a show called Entourage and I played Kristen, who was Kevin Connolly's girlfriend on that show. And like, I was just like a bitch on that show too. And it was like, it's funny. It's fun for me because like, I know it so well, but it's just like, people are always amazed that like in real life, I'm kind of very, like, I don't get too emotional about much. Like I'm not, you know, like I'm not really that bitter or jaded as a person.
Not at all.
I can
That's
do it so well.
Crazy. You're one of the nicest people I know. It's so wild to know that that's what you've been playing.
I think so. I really think it is. Like, I mean, and then I can just play like Psycho so well because my mom like really. No, I mean I'm not talking trash. I love her to death. She knows it. I mean she knows herself, but she just like. For example, they left last night, and we got into like a little argument before I read something stupid, like I'd thrown out her coffee, and I was like, I thought you were done with it, and she was like, well, I wasn't. I was like, well, I'm sorry, I thought I was helping. She was like, well, next time, don't help. And I said, okay. So anyway, so they go to the airport, and she calls me to tell me they got there okay. Or she texted me and I said, okay, great. That's great. I love you. And then I guess she called me afterwards because I don't know why. And I didn't answer because I was asleep. But she was like, I came all the way out to LA and you can't even be bothered to pick up the phone.
So over the top.
That.
And it's just like, I don't even think she knows what she's upset about most of the time. I think she was just bored. But so, yeah, I can do that really well. Like, I think, like, my on Dawson's Creek, I don't think my character really knew what she was upset about. I think she was just bored.
But would your mom never go to your wedding?
That was so dark.
Yeah.
Oh, she would.
Yeah. She totally would.
Perfect. That's amazing.
Did your mom not go to yours? Or something?
Well, no, in the episode, remember how like the parents
I saw that, but I wanted to ask about that. Yeah, I could see my mom doing that for sure. For sure.
Funny.
I love that. That is amazing.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm dead to her, like, over little stuff. So, you know, I mean, I get brought back alive, but like, I'm like dead to her over lots of little stuff. So, like, yeah, I don't know.
That is incredible. That is so incredible. Where it's just like, you're going to get cut off forever and then it's repaired. I mean, what a roller coaster.
Yeah. So the parents in that show. Okay. Oh, and there's another thing before I just don't want to forget about this. When you guys put the little needle or pin in his coat pocket so he bleeds. Mm-hmm. Do you guys have green blood like an alien? Predator kind of thing?
Good question.
Green blood. I don't think we
do. You don't?
We bleed.
Because you were like, he has red blood. He's a human. I was like, does that mean you guys
I don't know if there's green
don't
blood
have
cells
blood
mixed
or
in
have
there.
green blood? Okay.
The science behind all this stuff
Yeah.
kind of is whatever's convenient at the time.
Okay.
It didn't necessarily feel like they had a rule book they were always following per se.
Okay. Well,
And it
okay.
could be more as well, him just saying like him making fun of aliens.
Okay.
Like understanding it doesn't look the same as our blood, but we don't have green blood. But Michael just going like,
Okay.
it's not green blood, buddy. Like not an alien. But
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
that's
Okay.
how I'm gonna choose to take it.
Okay. No, so going back to the mom not going to the wedding thing, do they? Because I'm trying to think of different alien stories, and there's of course Superman, and how Superman, when his parents found him, they just thought he was like a little baby in the cornfield. They were so happy. Did these parents know that you guys were aliens?
They still don't.
They still don't.
They
No.
never.
But you
find
guys
out,
showed
actually.
up when you were like teenagers, right?
They
No,
were like 5 or 6.
5 or
Oh,
6
okay.
found wandering in the desert.
Same kind of deal. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And now, Monica, one of the things that we do on here is a lot of the times I'll have a diary entry from the time that corresponds with an episode. We didn't have one on this episode, which is such a bummer because they can be gold. It's just me complaining about Brendan.
That's so cool though that you did that.
I mean, it's really wild, but I'm so bummed to not have one so that we can, so that I can complain about Brendan. Yeah, but there is an amazing thing where you and I did not become friends until after our WB days.
That's right. Long after, actually. Yeah.
Long after.
Speaking of exes, right?
Yes, exactly. So I wanted to know, is there anything you remember, like, was it as teenage drama for you off screen as it was for me? It wasn't for Brendan. He was not dramatic. I was like diary entering,
Yeah,
I was
that's so cute.
taken to the diary and being like, dear diary,
That's adorable. No.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I wasn't actually. To be honest, most of my time when I was on when I was in North Carolina on that show, I'm so stupid. I had my first boyfriend at the time, but I think I was 17 when I did that show. And he was already 21, and which is so weird, like thinking about it. No, I'm sorry. I met him when I was 15. So I'd already so when I was 17, he was, I guess, 23. So gross. But anyway,
Majandra always accuses me of grooming her at 17.
He's only 3 years older than me, but I love to be like, you were grooming me, but
It's true. Yeah. I mean, it's creepy when you think about it. And then I remember when I turned 21 back then, and I'd see like a 17-year-old boy, I'd be like, oh God, so young. Yeah. But anyway, long story short, I just wanted to get back to New York to like be with him. And I was so I was sort of just so anxious the whole time. So I wasn't like angsty. I was anxious. Because
I read,
that's true. You just want to go back and be with your boyfriend at that age.
Yeah, I read that you asked to leave, that you asked to be killed off, and then Kevin Williamson said, "Well, you asked to leave," and then he said, "Well, at least let me kill you and have you be the first death on Dawson's."
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I know, and they were so nice. So it wasn't like that I didn't like the show, or I didn't like the people, or I didn't like the character. Honestly, I didn't realize it as much as at the time as I do now after the fact. But I was sort of aware of it at the time that like I was a very popular like breakout character, because I did stir stuff up. So people were really not wanting me to leave. And to be honest, they didn't have to let me leave. I'd signed it was like a 6-year contract.
7-year contract is what they made you sign.
But to Kevin Williamson's credit, he's like such a nice guy that he just like was agreeable to it. And I mean, really, honestly, all that it was that I just wanted to go home to be with my stupid boyfriend. My predator boyfriend.
Your groomer boyfriend. But I will say people do have a hard time understanding how much of these things can interrupt our life, these shows. You literally have no life, that it is it is like, what is it worth to you? Is everything all about just like wanting to be on a show and making money, or like is it okay to be like, you know what, I actually want to go live my life, be with my family or my boyfriend or whatever?
Yeah.
Doesn't make you ungrateful.
It makes
it's just
sense at the time, but now
I
looking
know.
back,
know.
do you go like, what were you thinking? Knowing
I
what you were thinking.
do. I do. When I look back, I think like that was so, like and also you guys both, I'm sure, understand this. At the time, 6 years seemed like forever.
That was a lifetime.
Like the time between like 17 and like 20. It was like I'll be 20 by the time this is over. Oh my god. Like, I might as well be dead.
Totally. You're like, I've wasted my good years in North Carolina.
It's over.
Yeah.
So,
Now, Monica, I got to tell you.
What?
I never tell you this, but and I'm sure you get this so much, but it is so mind-blowing, your episode on Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, thank you.
Brendan, it is a masterclass in acting that we can't even attend because we're too dumb. Like, it is unbelievable. And I saw it after we became friends and was like, holy shit. You know, when you're like,
oh, I'll have to.
Oh,
I was impaled with a subway pole. You know, the poles that you hold on to on the train?
Yeah.
There was like a train car accident, and I get impaled with another guy that I'm attached to, and they have to. You'll see. They have to operate on us.
Yeah, no spoilers. No spoilers. You should really watch it though, Brendan. It's so good, and anybody listening needs to stop this. We'll finish this episode and then go watch it because it is so fucking good. It's unbelievable.
You know, it's pretty, just thinking about it. Sorry, being selfish here. How long has that show been on? Like 22 years?
I don't know.
Like probably 20 years. We're talking over 450 episodes, probably, at least over 400.
Yeah.
And the fact that me and Majandra have never been on it is pretty sad.
Yeah. Have you guys ever been on Law and Order? You must have, both of you.
No.
At this point. No? I've been on two different ones. I've been on Law and Order, Criminal Intent, and the original. But I grew up
when I moved to the East Coast, Monica was like, "All right,
Shiri was on Law and Order.
Yeah, everybody's been on it.
Shiri was on Grey's.
I believe my friend Zoe was on it twice as two different people.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck?
Back in the day, when Millennium and X-Files were kind of a back-to-back on Fox. Yeah. They both shot in Vancouver, and I was on Millennium twice.
Still weren't on it.
I got killed twice in the cold opening on Millennium. I got killed twice as two different characters.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Cool.
So nice.
I love Vancouver. Freddy versus Jason shot in Vancouver.
Vancouver's,
nice. Yeah, Vancouver's so great.
And then you did Orange County with Colin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who we killed off on our show.
So he could go do movies.
So he could do Orange County.
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had that in the kind of the bag, and he was a beloved character on our show, and he did a lot, but he had a movie career kind of going, and he wanted to do that, so they killed him off so they could go do
that. That's so cool. I worked with Jason Fehr on Dawson's Creek before your guys' show.
Yeah, it's so wild. It's just so funny because it's always such a small world, and I think people think that we're all like that we have influence in who gets hired, and we're hiring our friends and this and that, and it's like, no, it's just a small world, and we all end up overlapping. It's just crazy.
Except on Grey's
I wish I had influence. I would listen, if I was the casting director for Law and Order or Grey's Anatomy, I'd have both you guys on.
Thank you.
But chances are you'd be killed off because most of them are patients and they die. Myself included.
I'll even play like a body on the ground. Like,
put me in the morgue.
I love that. That's great.
Well, this was such a delight, Monica. Thank you so much.
I'm so sorry I was late, you guys.
Oh my God, no.
That's okay.
This is perfect. No, this is absolutely perfect. You are so good. And I just love that you thought it was a foreign show because
I did.
Like this is what it's like watching.
And I know that not every episode is like that. Is the thing. I do know that because I've seen a couple, but I was like, this is not that.
Yeah, there's a stylized thing happening that's a little.
Yeah, it was like it was almost like a porno, like an old school softcore porn, but foreign.
Yeah. I love it.
All right, guys.
Right.
All right. Well,
thank you so much for joining us. Nice to
meet you.
To meet you, and hopefully we run into each other sometime.
We will. I love you, Majandra.
I love you. It was so good to see you too.
I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
I stink so bad. I didn't shower yesterday, and then did a little work this morning before church, and then just it's a little ripe, as they say. And I just read something.
Oh boy!
On Instagram, I read that a drop of man's sweat. I don't know if a drop, but man's sweat, when a woman smells it, can help their, helps them get in a better mood or something like this. I don't know if it's true.
How are the ladies of your house feeling right now?
That's why they stuck me in the garage.
Everyone's in a terrible mood.
Exactly. Everyone's like, you stink, Papa.
Well, that was one of those seduction things where men would take the handkerchief on, like, from their jacket before a dance and just wipe their balls with it and then put it back in so that when they'd be dancing with the girls,
they smell the
there was
nuts.
just, but it's not like too much of a wipe. You know what I mean? It's just like something in the air.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is it? What's it that in the air? It's taint. Oh, the taint.
Oh, the taint.
Oh, the taint. Oh, the taint is hurting. Oh, the taint.
All of a sudden, it just sparkles. Oh, the taint. Yeah. I was going to say something else in regards to that. Like Napoleon, the old, I don't know if it's true, but when he wrote, who was his wife? Who was he going home?
Josephine?
Was that who it was? Where he says,
Yeah.
I'll be home in 3 days. Don't wash.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, good for him. Good for him. Good for her.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What does it do to men's mood? I wonder.
I don't know. Let's get a little more into this because we'll just... flashbacks are so hard. We did them in Baron and Toluca. And, we put it in a totally different kind of place and it's got a totally different vibe. And, it's well done. It's nothing amazing. It's nothing...
Are those flashbacks or are they her dreams?
Or her dreams, whatever we want to call them, right? Just kind of a different space, different time. They're always difficult to separate those from the current day of whatever show you're doing. And some just kind of make it a little murkier. You change the color and the LUT. You make it black and white. You might make it a little fuzzy. Or whatever the case. Flashbacks, dreams, whatever you want to call them. A lot, you could, I don't know, slow down time, speed it up, change the colors, do this, that, and the other thing. And when they're well done, I always want to pay attention to them in shows, like how are they going to do this? And most of the time, it's pretty standard stuff. This looks like a soap opera porn all the time, are these flashbacks in Roswell.
Yeah.
And I know they're hard to do, and I don't have an answer to how I would make that better, but golly, they're hard to take seriously a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a heavy sigh.
It's like, this is a different time. I think then we could take it seriously. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know they're trying to make this but it's also otherworldly, but it just looks like they're in the windows. And I mean, again, it's takes a lot of gall to complain about something and not have an answer for it. But,
Well, okay, so a heavy sigh, I hesitate to get into this whole thing. Well, because it was just so rough. It was so porny. And I just think that that's more a sign of the times. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of, what did I write? It was a lot of red roses and like black silk, billowy whatever. Mm-hmm. And maybe then that was mysterious.
I don't know. I don't know at all. Well, moving on from that, because I don't think we have anything great to offer.
Really.
I love how she's going to Kyle in these situations. I married an alien, knocks on his door, here goes to his place of work. And this relationship of theirs is just so cute. And this is funny. Kyle's character has changed a little bit. Like, he was kind of the mean, I wouldn't go so far as mean, but this this jock who was a threat in terms of maybe what he was capable of doing, of maybe stabbing someone on the back, wanting revenge on Max for stealing Liz in the beginning. He had a little bit of a dangerous aspect, especially because of the fact that we had to keep it a secret from him and everything else. And now he is just, his arc, he is fully morphed almost into a little bit of Nick, where like in Don't Call Me Shirley, and then he gets that that little giggle where his sense of humor is, really coming through, and he seems so wholesome.
Yeah. I said Kyle's situation is very attractive. Football player, auto mechanic, Buddhist, like all these things are just love the guy. Right?
Yeah. And then he's got, he's basically pulls a Simpsons, because you know how they always can tell the truth. And he's just like, they're always predicting the future. It's not quite that, but he's like, God, I hate cell phones. And it's so true. They weren't even that apparent back then as they are now, not even close. And just to have seen that coming.
Right, they weren't that. It also was a feeling of wanting to send a warning to the future.
Yeah.
Guys, don't let these things get too crazy, because you will literally do nothing but just scroll on it. And you will have fights with your children, threatening to crack them over your knee and throw them in the ocean.
Yeah. Cell phones, when they first started out, were literally just to call people. It was a mobile phone. Mm-hmm. It was to make calls while you are on the move. And that was it. And that was great.
Yes.
And then we got apps and apps and apps and apps and movies. And listen, I'm guilty, but doesn't mean I like it.
Yeah, no, I don't like it. It's hooked, but yeah, it's awful. And I do have all these things that say, you've been on too long, you've been this, you've been that. And it's just like, I go, give me one more minute, give me 15 minutes. You can do the 15 minute, 1 minute, or just
it's the snooze of
all day.
It's the snooze of, of the cell phone time limit. Yeah, I mean, there's a few things. Just it's so funny when they set up Max for Jesse to asked to be his best man. He just comes in with a little kiss on the cheek to Isabel, and I'm like, that's just a kiss on the cheek, not even on the lips, even just a little one.
I mean, but I get that because Max is standing right there,
I guess. Anyways, I was like,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I thought he was going to come in. I thought he was going to come in for a kiss on the lips. And I was like, oh no, don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh, okay. Oh, and you helping Isabel is,
I wrote Maria. She's like someone who needs to go to Al-Anon. She's always there to just help people and senses when they're in whatever peril. Where is the line drawn? Like, it's almost like she has nothing else going on except helping other people.
Well, but I wrote, this is very you, like the organization queen. Like when you say a million things could have been done yesterday or should have been done yesterday. This is very Majandra now. This is like organized, get things like all tickety-boo in line, everything else.
Well,
it was like a calling to your future self a little bit, I'm going to say.
Well, I mean, it's like, because what else are you going to do?
Were you like that back then?
I don't think so. I think that just came out of necessity, and also just not wanting to be, when you go, I don't want to be that person.
Right.
I'm the person who has time blindness and forgets to order contact lenses or whatever. Like, I didn't want to be that. And I definitely grew up with a lot of people in my house being like that. And then just being like, oh, that feels chaotic. I'd rather waste my time just kind of doing nothing than waste it scrambling. And the scramble takes time. Like, where's the thing?
The scramble does take, it does take time.
It's such a time waster. So I think that's what happened. But I thought that the fact that she was 4 days out from her wedding, where did we start? I think it was 4 days.
4 days and a couple hours, and the countdown begins.
To have all that still left was wild. And now people will watch this and be like, ooh, she's being a Karen. But it's like, no, you got to do what you got to do. She had to threaten a lot of people because it's wild. Her dress was somehow in Florida.
Yeah.
So clearly someone does kind of need a talking to, but it is such a teenage thing, I think, or whatever, just a young person's thing to wait or just leave everything so much.
Yeah, even though she's getting married, she still is very young.
Very
I'm not even
young.
going to attempt to say how old she is at this point because we've fucked it up so many times.
Yeah, I thought that was amazing to say. I want to say the day before, like, I'm meeting with the florist, like as if the florist is like a new person she's interviewing. I was like, wow, this is, ooh. But it also is such a great detail and layer of, that's what happens when you don't have someone helping you. And she doesn't have the support of her mother. So
exactly.
It does all fall on this young girl. So it is a full scramble. But yeah, that gave me such anxiety, how much she had left to do. And imagine she probably showed up to her wedding, like not having slept for days and smelling, having to do just like an armpit bath. So much dry shampoo because
maybe
there just
Jesse
was no
said
time.
We're getting married in 3 days. Don't wash.
Oh, that's true. He's like, don't wash or sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
I like my bitches on the verge of a nervous breakdown.
Vulnerable and not thinking clearly.
Shaking with exhaustion.
Speaking of Jesse, I don't even know this guy. Michael comes in to the fitting and we basically introduce ourselves for the first time. We're like, oh yeah, we met that one time there. And it's just like, she's marrying someone Michael has met once.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a little crazy.
Yeah.
And then just Michael and his fashion commentary. Ooh, this is sharp. He's just such a fucking moron.
It really took, Jesse though was a bit of a moron. It really took him so long. I mean, I don't know what the male hazing situation is like, but Jesse really took a long time to feel as though he's being interrogated.
Oh, I know.
Really
I mean, the fact that we're
from the
sitting
jump.
down at a table in the back of this tuxedo shop, and it looks like the end of a party with all the crap on the table. It looks like we've been doing lines of cocaine. I don't know what was on there. It was probably pins and all this stuff. But it really, I was like, how long have we been in here? Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. I was also horrified by his reaction to the pin. When he got hit, he got pricked by the pin. He was like, ow! Like, it was just so...
And then he blames the guy. There's this pin in the jacket still.
There's a pin still in here. I was like, oh, that right there is when Max and Michael should have been like, sorry.
Exactly. And, I mean, Michael has chilled immensely. When Isabel comes into my apartment, this Kavar talk of this other planet and all this stuff, I would have been riled up. I would have been raring to go season 1 of like, we got to get to the bottom of this. What the fuck is going on? This means something. This is happening. And I'm going, it's dreams. Another planet. Yeah, he killed us all, but you're probably just panicking. Like a real, where all of a sudden he's mature in this. He's grown up. What is going on? He actually does a pretty good job of, of calming
reasoning
her down.
with her. Yes, totally. It's like life has just beaten him down.
100%.
But yeah, he did have such a maturity. And I think maybe it's in contrast from what the last episode, because it is such a jump from season 1 to 3. But it was like, wow, Michael is a real, just words of wisdom here.
Yeah.
And just don't get up, bro. He literally just sat throughout the whole thing, wasn't moved enough to move.
And the old, and I will say, when I go, and he passed, I thought was so, like, that just shows, like, this, I don't know. I thought I was very proud. I didn't remember doing that, but I thought it was really great. It was one of those few moments to find like something comedic about Michael that's a little out of character, but still fits a little bit. I don't know.
I don't know if you noticed in the beginning when that Carter with a K goes to Kyle, he goes, Carter with a K, and then Kyle goes, K. Yeah, I thought that was a little Nick, like he put that in there.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
But the other thing is when you were talking to Katie, or Michael was talking to Isabel, and then Maria runs in to be like, your dress is in Florida. All of a sudden, they started playing the Hava Nagila.
The music change there is really wild.
It was literally the Hava Nagila. Like, it was, Hava Nagila was playing. What?
Yeah, I don't know. And I give her the mom pat at the end.
Yeah, you gave her the mom pat. And
she slapped it away just like you do when I give you the mom pat.
Taking us to the next scene. I was like, all right, and here we go. That was so amazing. But yeah, and then I like the parents. Like Max doesn't live at home, but he just helps himself to a fruit. That was great.
I know. He needs that vitamin C, I guess.
Yeah.
He's living at my house. I got a great pad.
Yeah, you do. Michael really had a great pad.
Like it was a pretty good bachelor pad of like, he's got the bike and the foosball table there. And then, I don't know.
And it was realistic. It's not like a friend situation. We were like, how can these people afford this apartment? I feel like he could in those days. And
100%.
In that neighborhood. And, it's perfect. Also, then Carter with a K, he calls Maria Alice. The nerve, also great name.
Wait, why does he call you Alice?
I don't know. He just goes like, listen, Alice.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
At the crash down where I was like,
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Great name.
Yeah. Kyle's got, when Liz says, I thought it was a really great quote when she's talking to John Doe about helping Isabel with the wedding and doing all this, where she was like, I'm going to be the person I was raised to be. Is like that would be a real tough thing to spin back on your kid. Like if my kid said that to me, if I was giving them trouble about something and they were doing something that was helpful and being the person that you had hoped and wished for them to be, to have that not thrown back in your face. I don't think she was trying to do that. It was very respectful, but I just thought it was I just thought it was a great quote. It just stuck out to me made me think a little of like, oh yeah, that's I should just keep that in the back of my head for when I'm raising, when I have maybe an issue with my kid. And
you're like, when I'm raising my kids, like you haven't been raising
them. When I haven't started yet. When I start to talk to these children, when I finally
just get involved,
I was like, yeah.
Now I wrote that men go to a strip club is absolutely insane, Brendan. I know that you kind of agree with me.
Oh, 100%. We all know, I've told the story about I've been to the one strip club when I did the movie, and then the one that my dad asked me to meet him at, and I thought it was a bar, and it turned to be a strip club, and then I sat with my back towards strippers.
And that, like, it's a given. That it's a given for a bachelor party is just so nuts to me. And then Valenti's there.
That was, but just like, could you imagine in a small town walking into this, the ex-sheriff is got his cover band or his country band singing at a strippers, and then fights break out, which if he was sheriff, he'd be in there arresting people, finding out, taking statements. And he has let this job go. He has just been like, you know what? Not my problem anymore. Sheriff Hansen, you figure it out. You dolt.
It's all you, buddy.
It's all on you. Now you wanted the job. And he is just having a ball.
Yeah.
It's the wildest thing.
Like the creep men of the world created the strangest world for like the rest of, nice men. Like that was just normal. So insane.
I just love how it didn't even look like he had to try, but like every cop instinct that is coursing through his body, he just went, yeah, no.
Yeah, it was a different time.
But it just wasn't happening.
I wrote here on my notes, I said, imagine a girl's party with Bravo playing on the TV, Taylor Swift blaring from the speakers, and the clinking of mahjong tiles being played in the background. And 3 ripped Travis Kelce or Timothée Chalamet dupes are grinding half naked on a pole. while the leads of the show don't even blink an eye. Good Lord.
Well, I know there is a lot of.
It's so normal that no one is batting an eye.
Yeah, I mean, they don't. Yeah. It was wild, and I wrote as well, or I noticed. So Kyle and Michael again, even just the little stuff. Everyone with Kyle has their own different dynamic. He's just so fun to play with. But if I can pull off this pool trick, do you not think Michael would be full-time pool hustler making money?
100%.
And I said, if we ever did like I don't even know what would we call it if we went back and did the show. Is it a reboot? Would it be?
Or we find them now. That's what he's been up to.
Where we find them now, I've been asked that over and over again at panels, at cons and all that stuff, and I never really know. He is a full-time pool hustler going from city to city, bar to bar, just hustling, doing that thing. I didn't know he could do that. I didn't remember.
Pool and poker, changes the cards, whatever.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would just be cash, nothing to the IRS, just everything under the table, and just going from smoky bar to truck stop diner to smoky bar.
Just imagine being able to do that and then also having the powers to, if someone pulls a gun out or whatever, you can also protect yourself. I mean, what a world.
Yeah.
Now,
he would take full advantage of that.
When I guess we were supposed to be setting up these like prep Ivy League peers against, right?
Mm-hmm. Small town.
The small town, which is so funny because like they just came off as like normal. Like everyone just seemed normal to me, where I'm like, this is not pronounced enough to be like.
Yeah, it wasn't Goodwill Hunting.
Exactly. It wasn't Goodwill Hunting. And like, I was assuming these are like Harvard people. So I was like, that's nice that they just kind of made them normal, but.
They were Harvard people because Jesse went to Harvard and they were all his buddies.
Exactly. But they didn't do the like douche, they made them like real Harvard people where they're just like,
They were a little douchey, but.
You've probably never met one person that has gone to Harvard. Well, you did see the Jesse Eisenberg, vehicle social network, so you kind of do know. So, but anyway, when they call him redneck jerk-offs, right?
Yeah.
They go redneck jerk-offs, and then I wrote, it's maybe because they laughed at the word statistician.
When me and Kyle, when he's like, I'm a statistician, and we laugh at it like it's not a badge of honor, dude. It's not what we don't think. This is not something to be proud of, which does make us a little lowbrow rednecky, but just and like blissfully unaware in our ignorance, I guess, of that. But I cracked up when we were just like, this isn't the flex you think it is, not here, dude.
And that this is like a place where a brawl will break out over something so small. It's like everyone is kind of the problem right now. Like, this is just crazy. But it was I loved seeing Nick respond to statistician with that. Like,
I know,
such a good job.
And then they show, then Michael follows it up. Like, we both were like, oh, dude.
You guys are like, ah. And I also think at the time that was like a weird word. Like, it wasn't just us and our immaturity and being like rednecky. It's also just like no one like knew shit like that then.
What this guy also doesn't know is like statistician. It's like, dude, we're aliens from another planet.
Yeah,
like, we got the FBI. Like, dude, we don't like, you can't even put us on that table of statistics because we're dealing with magic. You have no idea what we are and what we've dealt with and what we've gone through. We have lived 1,000 lives.
100%. Yeah. And I think now because of like Instagram and podcasts and just that thing, like a mechanic is going to know what a statistician is now.
Sure, yeah.
But then it is like, that was a wild thing to pull out. It's also so sad, that guy. I know that that's not possible because I'm a statistician. I wrote the 2-shot of Liz and Maria in the mirror. Did you see that? Like when we show her the dress. Yeah, and we're like, it's like the 2-shot. Like, I remember us having to really squeeze in so much so that they could get that angle and get the two of us. And it just, I remember laughing a lot. It being very funny because we're like, how is this not going to look ridiculous?
I didn't.
But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to take us out of the strip club prematurely.
Oh.
Do you remember those naked ladies coming in? Because I don't.
No. I don't even remember when the strip club came on. I was just like, oh my. I was like, what are really? Oh, yeah, it felt very scandalous, even though nothing was just bras. But I was like, we did this? This was a choice that we made? This is crazy.
Yeah. I wrote that family and pass down dresses. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, sorry, that families pass down dresses. That's what I wrote.
Okay.
Like, if my mom passed down her dress, I would have had to alter that thing because she's a head taller so much that then I wouldn't be able to give it to Cecilia, who is also a head taller. So it's like it skipped a generation.
Oh, interesting. Right.
And that, I don't want to say but
alien powers probably manipulated it. Oh, are you going to talk about boobs? Are you going to talk about how she fit her boobs in that?
No, I think they were fine. Like they seemed same height.
I would like to talk
I mean?
about how she fit her boobs.
What I would like to talk about is how matronly that dress was. Why do we have to age Isabel up this much?
Well, I know.
You're telling me Mrs. Evans didn't have a little bit more of a hoey dress?
It did look like Little House on the Prairie.
Which I love. That's like one of my favorite things.
Yeah. But,
a virginal bride.
yeah.
But is that Isabel?
Right.
Doesn't she have more flair? Like she just...
I don't know. And yeah.
That dress belonged to that like pioneer town. 100%. What was it called?
Oh, in Arizona.
Yeah. Copper Summit.
Copper Summit.
Something.
Very
Copper
nice.
Summit.
Look at us. Look at us.
I was like channeled. I started to like shake. It's like my version of like speaking in tongues, but it's just facts.
The lights just dim in her in her like office for a little bit while she
covers on it. And I'm like, sorry, what was I saying? Yeah, that's my version of lyric. Yeah, that dress was a bummer. And then that Jesse gets punched in the face.
Max straight out just punches him in the face. And he's like, I didn't know. It's like, dude, you literally looked him in the eye. You smoked him in his nose. I mean, yeah, the old meat on the nose trick, which I've tried a couple times.
Old meat on the nose
The old
Fehr.
meat on the nose Fehr. My advice would be keep it on a little longer.
Why are you taking that meat off my nose so soon?
But I mean, speaking of, he needs, all jokes aside, he needs to see, that does need to sit on there longer, dude. I mean, that is...
Sorry, wow, what a way to put it right
That
after.
is suspicious, though. I mean, he just, like, touches the meat to his face and then pulls it off almost immediately. It's like, give it, say, like, I'll check on you in half hour and then, have Jesse do it. I know you can't do this for a TV show because no one wants that kind of time lapse. It's not worth it. But, like...
But you could do something. You could have him talk for at least a couple sentences with it on his face.
Yeah, because now I know when I married an alien and he's going like, he healed my nose with a steak. During that time, I was like, no, that's possible, right? Like it's an ice pack, right? It'll bring the swelling down and do all that stuff. And yeah, a little magic, maybe a little suspicious. But then looking back at this, seeing it now, I'm like, that's very fucking suspicious, dude. You just went like, and like, yeah.
It also just goes to show, like, underlines how gullible Jesse is. Really? He really is. I mean, he's so sweet. He really is just like a sweet. I hate to say it, I don't think he's going to be a great lawyer. He'll believe whatever you say. Yeah.
But if we take anything away from this, leave the meat on the nose longer. You can't go wrong.
That whole thing was like classic. Like those are in-laws from hell, where the brother-in-law to be punches you in the nose, but then heals you with a steak.
Yeah. And then
I did write real quick here. I wrote, because this is how they like kind of get back together or whatever. Like when they like decide to bury the hatchet. Jesse explains that no one was ever good enough for his mother, and I wrote, sons are a mother's ultimate cock block.
Yes.
It really is a thing.
No, I cock blocked all my mom's boyfriends. So my mom, I did not want her dating. I was 6 when they divorced, and she would bring home, not bring home, that sounds awful. Jeez.
Just stumbling in.
Good old Hilda, just bringing home the men. No. But when she got a boyfriend,
right,
especially up until the age of like 12, like from 6 to 12, she would, introduce me after a certain time. I wasn't that involved, but at the time she felt comfortable. I don't know. They go on 2 or 3 dates, and then she's like, yeah, maybe, I like this guy, so maybe there'll be something there. And then
right.
Comes home, brings them and says, hey, this is so-and-so. And I'd meet him and I wouldn't say anything. And that would be the end of it. And then when they went home, she would be like, so what'd you think? And I'd be like, no. And inevitably she would just break up with them. Like, because of me, she would just go like, okay. And like, looking back, it's like, don't listen to me. I'm fucking 8 years old. Of course I'm going to say no.
Your mom is literally the only person that if someone were to say, give me an example of salt of the earth, I get so annoyed with that saying, because I think the people are given it that don't deserve it. Right, I'm like, that. I'm sorry, that is not salt of the earth. That is like a expensive spice from Whole Foods. Don't call her that. But your mom literally to me is like the meaning of salt of the earth.
Yeah. I can't, I can't disagree. She's fucking one of a kind. She's the best.
Really is. Now, what would you say you are of the earth?
Dirt.
Mud.
Mud. Oh, I'm the mud. Exactly.
You're the Marmite of the earth.
What would you say?
Dulce de leche. No, I don't know. Definitely not salt of the earth. Jeez. Yeah, I haven't earned anything. I don't know. Something that does not have a long enough shelf life where you're like, what fuck?
Right. I mean, yeah. Salt is a preservative, right?
Of course. When you it's a life giver.
Yeah, it's a preservative. So, so it prevents decay and destruction. But anyways.
Salt was so important and valuable that Roman soldiers sometimes were paid in salt. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's not forget.
I don't know what I would be. That's interesting. Everyone listening, comment on what blank of the earth, what would describe you and why.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say you. I'm like, they don't know you. Don't let anyone tell you
a little
who
bit.
You are.
Exactly. Or what you think of me and Majandra, sure. And
they do that anyway.
But I do. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, because about sons being the ultimate cockblock.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's interesting because my stepfather is sort of the much softer version. He's no version of my father. Like, they're so different.
Right. Oh, hold on 1 sec. Fuck. Sorry. I know. Hello?
He hates when I bring up my stepfather.
Cock blocks.
Oh, yeah. Cock blocks. Those are your cock blocks.
I love cock blocks.
Oh, yeah. Let's say more. No. So, okay. So
Leopoldo.
The cock block thing, my stepfather, Leopoldo, is one of the most wonderful people. And
he could be a salt of the earth guy.
Brendan, he's too,
I know.
soft.
But he's just he's a pillow of the. I mean, what
he's a pillow. He's a down pillow of the earth.
He really is. He's a comforter of the earth. He's like a big fluffy comforter.
Yep.
On a bed.
Yep. Which is very different than salt. Like you have to be like, which he's strong in different ways.
Yes.
Okay, but he is definitely like significantly a softer, much more philosophical, coachable, really values wisdom, even if it makes him uncomfortable, even if it means changing. He's more
almost more of a listener, like a
very
listener
different than what my father is like.
Yes, I could imagine. I've never met Enrique, but I need to at some point. I mean, I've always said if our fathers got together, because my father was born in Paraguay, so he's got South American roots. But if they got together, they might be able to take over one of those countries.
100%.
I mean, they would beat the shit out of each other. It'd be like the Oasis brothers, where they can't
Yeah.
stand each other, but they're really good for each other.
No, I don't even know that my dad would do. Yeah, he's really intelligent. Like he's really like.
So is my dad.
But like
stupid at the same time.
In a way, like he's not going to ever fight with someone. He's not, he's.
My dad won't anymore, but he did.
My dad never did. Like he was just like, please, like I'm not. I mean,
my dad
if
was
you
literally
did,
like, it would be in like that bar scene that we had in there. He wasn't the
if
Harvard
someone
guy or
threw
whatever.
a punch, my dad would kill you. Will not stop until you're dead. But he's not. You know what I mean? Like he's not gonna. He's like too cool.
Right. Okay.
But if the two of them got together, your dad would just have to mention the possibility, and maybe they would both start making plans to overtake a small country. And they should, by the way.
100%.
We need to connect them via WhatsApp.
We do.
But what I was going to say, though, this was a very long way to say that you and I both learned, well, I tried to tell you, you were probably not listening to me, that this sun cockblocking thing might actually be like a great thing, because I looked it up. Studies
Did you
show,
put in cock block?
I looked up what cock block means. Okay, I never knew this whole time. No, that stepdads. So research indicates that children living with parents are at a significantly higher risk of abuse, which is so sad.
Yeah, that's like that. That's the stat that.
That's the stat.
Almost.
It's the highest risk. It's the highest indicator of putting your kid at risk of abuse, more than having an alcoholic parent, a drug addict parent.
Look at Hank. He wasn't step. He was foster.
Well, but yeah, so maybe that's what you were doing. You're like, I just don't want to die.
I wasn't scared. No, I don't.
like
I don't know
something
the
in you that
earlier
knows.
ones. I just remember just saying like no, and then she would listen to me. But this is kind of the last of it for me in terms of what I noticed about this episode. But I thought it was a great transition from Kavar being into the dreams to then showing up in real life. All of a sudden it becomes more real on the wedding, has that little, scary dance, and then just kind of disappears into the crowd. I thought that was great.
Yeah, I wrote, I wish they hadn't made him so douchey, but maybe you just have to start that way. I like that line, even if we're not going to be friends, we're going to be family. What a dark take on family. What a dark, dark take. You know who should be the nicest to you? Your family. That's what I think. Why be mean to those you love? And if you're going to be mean and lash out because you're comfortable, at least apologize and be kind.
I know.
Be kind
I know.
and rewind.
I'm in the minority of sorts to a certain degree. I think it kind of fluctuates. But when they say blood is thicker than water,
that's not the whole quote, though.
Oh,
that's the problem.
Oh. But
I know.
I will say it doesn't really because family is not chosen, right? You're just born into it, and you get lucky or you don't. It's good or it's bad, and who knows if that's ever changing. But you choose your friends, and so in that sense, that means something entirely different. You're making a choice to invite them into your life and to share things with them, and to form this relationship. And in that sense, that's more, that's got more stick, I'd stick up for my family to the ends of the earth, but I don't know, something about friends that are chosen, that you choose to go through life with, and you're not forced to. Just there's something there that I don't ever want to take for granted, and not. You don't really have to compare it to family necessarily, but I don't necessarily agree with blood is thicker than water.
Yeah, what I don't like is there's families that will want to bring you in and immediately treat you like shit and go, because we're family now. And it's like, when you make fun of your sister, she's been your sister forever and you guys are tight, so it's different. But when you just start saying stuff like that to someone off the street,
right? Yeah,
you got to earn that sort of relationship, the loyalty that allows you to then rib each other. Like you and I rib each other all the time, and it's not like if I suddenly started ribbing, I don't know, someone I just met. Like if I started saying things to Ryan that I say to you.
Oh,
and make her cry.
Yeah. That's why people think I'm an asshole, is because I tend to say things to people a little too early.
But you don't use like family as an excuse to really jump in there and
like
start
we're
being
family.
like, I have one more thing. One more thing.
What's the last word? Always the last word.
No. You're going to have the last word on this because it's a question for you. Well,
Why are you so stupid?
Why are you like family?
Why are you the way you are?
What did I write? Kavar slid into her DM. Yeah, the way he slid in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he took over from Michael dancing with her.
Exactly.
Michael didn't even get like I didn't even clock that. You know what I mean? There should have been like a spidey sense going on.
I know. And you got to love Kyle as a follow-up. Like, care to dance? Right as Kavar walks off. But I wrote, no one is dancing with Maria as she just watches Michael filming Isabel like the dude in Love Actually who's in love with his best friend's wife and records close-ups of her face during her wedding, then shows up at her front door like a psycho. Maria was just sitting right next to Michael, and he's literally like this with the camcorder trained on Isabel's face, and she's like a foot away. And he's, what the hell?
Well, I probably got assigned to do that by you and/or
also awful
Isabel.
Angle. You're sitting down and shooting up at her. No one
Kyle's
wins in
got
this.
most of the camcorder work, and it seems like I'm micromanaging him, where I'm always behind him looking at like, what, dude, how you got it? No, it's true.
That's what happened. You were micromanaging him.
And then I took
like,
it over because I'm like, dude,
this.
you're fucking this whole thing up.
Let me take this. Maria, I'm so sorry. I will dance with you at the end. I gotta salvage this. That's totally what it was.
Totally. All right. Well, on that note, talking about salvaging, I think we salvaged this episode.
You think so?
Well, I'm just the podcast. No, the episode was great.
No, I meant the podcast.
Oh, well, both. Yes.
I have to say, though, I enjoyed this episode more than I thought.
It started off slow for me where I was like, oh, boy. And then as it went along, I could see what was going on. So it was a nice build, which is what you should. The worst part of the episode should be the very beginning, in a sense, because you don't ever,
Totally.
You know, it's like when I marry people, I always say,
Brennan,
I hope this is the worst day of the rest of your life.
As Larry says, kismet. This is all very kismet that you've been marrying people, officiating. Mm-hmm. And this episode is what we cover.
All comes together.
It really does.
And so far, everyone I've married are still together.
Yeah, you just started like a year ago.
They're all still in the honeymoon period.
Exactly. And sorry, I cut you off. What is the quote you say? I hope today is...
I hope today is the worst day of the rest of your lives.
Yeah. That's tough.
I would like to refer to myself as Reverend when I do it, but officially my title is Minister. So
the Reverend.
I have to write on the wedding license. When it asks for my title, I got to write Minister, but I really want Reverend.
I really want you to just own like a really cheesy cigarette boat and name it the Reverend. Please.
Cigarette
Baby
boat.
Billy style.
Enrique and Jake buy it for me so I can deliver the goods in the cigarette boat from Cuba to...
The Reverend, yeah. And they're like, it's just a couple things. And it's...
Exactly. Just blocks
God knows
of cocaine.
What. Just selling Ozempic to
exactly.
like something really of the times.
Yeah, just kind of, backdooring it so they don't have to pay tariffs on it.
It's filled with Bitcoin. And we're like, that's not how Bitcoin works.
I was like, yeah, totally. They're like, it's Bitcoin. I'm like, oh no.
They don't know. They don't know. No one told them.
What do we have in here? What do we have?
It's those little coin, like chocolates.
Exactly.
Like
What's in the box? What's in the box?
What's in the box?
All right. On that note, we'll see you next week.
See you next week. See you on the boat.
Adios.
Adios. If, like us, you loved Roswell and wanted to keep watching the push and pull of Michael and Maria, then check out our show, Baron and Toluca. A brand new story set in a familiar town in New Mexico where a familiar combustible love is still playing out and where paranormal forces still have plans, whether you believe in them or not. Check out the first 2 episodes at www.youtube.com/@xfilespod. That's EXFILESPOD. The X-Files with Majandra Delfino
and Brendan Fehr is a production of Portholes Inc. Media.
Edited and mixed by Stephen Wells.
Theme music by Fred Corey.